So, as always, we begin by acknowledging the original stewards of the various land that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, if you can please do us the honors by introducing yourself to our listeners and viewers and tell us about your amazing work.
Sure. Thanks for asking. My name's Tammy Mackenzie. I'm the director of the Aula Fellowship for AI Science Policy and Tech. We're a nonprofit, international nonprofit think tank. Our mission is to get everyone to the table for the conversation on AI. How we do that is we make connections between people in the community, technologists, and decision makers. We're numerous fellows, and it's the best work and job I've ever had in my whole life. I get to work with people who love what they do every day. They come from, different parts of society and different specialties, come together to work around common problems. It's really inspiring and really a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all the work that you do. All right. So, what inspires you about the work that you do?
I'm a kid who was born with a sense of justice. So when I'd never get angry, but when something was unjust, I'd get involved. It would fire me up. And as I grew, I thought I'd be a lawyer and respect to lawyers. They're necessary as advocates. But it wasn't for me because that idea of sticking to a line was important. So I started to develop as a human rights activist, and as I grew to understand what was happening in our society, I was also working as a business person. So in accounting, I've been a CFO, a controller, all in small businesses or mostly in small businesses. These days in MBA. So these are like two tracks for me. The business and the rights, and I was getting involved. I mean, I'm 48 now, so as a teenager, I started to get involved in ecological issues. Well, a little bit later, and Indigenous, First Nations rights, which are prevalent rights. Violations that are happening in my neighborhood. I live close to Oka, where we had the Oka-Okanazatake, which is where they had the Oka crisis on repeat, every 30 years or so. So fast forward a little bit, they were looking at the MILA, the Montreal Institute for Learning Algorithms. They'd recognized a problem. They've been in AI for a long time, and they recognized that decision makers and technologists are sitting at tables trying to make decisions about how to implement AI into society as a set of tools, as a set of algorithms. And what they're finding is that there's definitely not enough people at the table. They don't have enough information to make really, fit to purpose technology, fit to purpose policy, and good decisions. So the Mila saw this problem, so did, to their credit, the decision makers and the technologists. You don't have a market if your clients don't trust your product, and you don't have a society or a job if you can't make good policy. So they know it's a problem. And Mila set up a training program to recruit people who had different hats who could join in the conversation. So after a certain amount of reflection about deciding whether or not I'd take my activism work, which was for the last little while almost entirely focused on the environment, and also Indigenous rights and truth and reconciliation, and how would I drop those to become an activist for AI or justice in AI? What did that look like? I mean, I could see that it was a place where I could be of use. I have a lot of experience facilitating and different hats. I'm also, a tech geek. I'm a competent robotics technician. We have a small factory where we make our own machines. We make our products, ecological products, and so I have those hats, the tech geek and the business and the rights, and then how to facilitate conversations between different segments in society. So that's not the only thing they were looking for. They were looking for people who could fill out teams. So we started at that. The first founders of our organization come through that responsible AI program at Mila. And we've been recruiting ever since, and lately been going, I guess, for nonprofit, maybe mini viral. People have been signing up. We have been able to build groups that have been producing research and policy and consultation. We've put together even a few tech products, quite a bit of research, different research groups, and we're starting to see that we can make an impact. We're connecting with decision makers across society. So like municipal, provincial, national, and international, who again, they're looking for people who can help make that conversation be wider across society. So it's our mission. It's aligning for a lot of people, and consequently, we're getting to work together. It's the main thing we bring to the people who join, and also to society. Like the goal is to get everyone to the conversation. So how we do that is we amplify people's work. We take them where they are, and like we'll train people. We have supervisors. We're bringing everything we can think of that an institute would bring as assets to a team, and all pro bono. So far so good, and it's been, again, really a great big honor. Yeah, I want to add. Some people say it's like herding cats when you're working with specialists or people who are really fired up at what they do, and that's true. But only a sheepdog will complain about herding cats. It sounds like fun to me, so maybe I'm also a cat. Like it's just great,
Mm,
and I
mhm.
think starting to be maybe useful.
Wow, that's awesome. Very, very amazing. I'm even turning into that, tech. I'm getting into AI, little by little, just being amazed at all the tools and things that we grew up with and now what do we have now. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to like, really absorb everything as much as possible. So that's awesome. That's amazing.
It's constant
Okay, so
learning, right, for tech in our life.
constant. Yes, yes. And I love learning. So, what challenges or barriers have you faced in your work, and how have you overcome them or in the process of overcoming them?
Handicap, single mom, having the wrong name for my culture. I share the culture of Quebec, but I'm bilingual. My last name is Anglophone, so it's been overt and not overt. On the other hand, of course, those are balanced by privileges I have. A healthy family, a loving family. I've never had to be afraid for food. I've never had to be afraid for my that my government would revolt. But now, of course, I'm a little worried about that, aren't we all? But and I've been able to see the world, and I'm multicultural, so that gives a certain outsider status in many circumstances. But on the other side, I think it's kind of a superpower too. It means I can speak multiple languages, go around the world comfortably into many different circumstances, and not insult anyone in those circumstances. Still be good citizen wherever I go. And so, yeah, I know you asked about the challenges, so fair enough. But challenges is always, poverty, loneliness. So there were times when, I needed help and it wasn't there. And I think I've spoken with cousins. I have the luck of having a big family, and in something like 20 years, we haven't very much been close. And we've been thinking about like why that is, and we're all sharing that same challenge. If you're working, this week I worked 16 hours a day for the last 3 days. So that's not a normal week, but it's pretty close to a normal week. It's pretty close to a normal week for my partner and for my cousins. And then we wonder like how much room is there in there to support each other through our hard times. And the answer is there's just not that much room to support each other through hard times. So yeah, challenges. And then a crisis of faith, I guess, a little bit as an activist from when I was little. Is like, can we change the world? I always took that for granted. Like, yeah, of course we can make a difference in the world. I watched a lot of lawyer programs when I thought I'd be a lawyer, and then I started wondering, can we really change the world? Like, it kind of looks like the forces of power mongering crazy have taken everything over. And this a few years ago. So I thought, like, I'm going to go and figure it, like, answer that for myself. Can one person change the world? And why, if we can, why is it so hard? So I did that. And that's how I face challenges anyways. I go and read stuff and try to figure it out and then go and talk with people. So lately I've become a scholar, and I'm finishing up the process. I've finished my doctorate, and it's in the examination process. And to answer that question, so I don't know, in case you're wondering, the answer was like, yes, one person can change the world. Why is it so hard? Because we're not meant to change it alone. Like, it's the whole world. It's not supposed to be so changeable by one person with a great idea standing on a mountain waving a flag. Like, actually, it's supposed to be one person inspires the person next to them, and together they inspire the person next to them, and then together they can make that change, because society does in fact bend to the will of the people. There is no other will but the will of the people, when we can get it together. So fragmenting us has been like the far rights, or the racist rights, or the the neoliberal, the extreme neoliberal capitalists, that's fragmenting the ability to work together, think together, be kind, and like have safe spaces where it's not hustle culture. Notwithstanding my 16-hour days, I don't tell anybody else what to do in the whole organization. It's a pull system. They come and say, I want to help, and we'll show them the list of things to do and give them the training to do that and the supervision and the help to do that. But it's a pull system because we really have to reassign power and elitism. So I guess that's why I have a lot to say about the challenge question, because it's always balanced by the privileges I have to deal with those challenges. And
Right,
I've been able to
right,
read a lot of books over the years, and that's the wisdom of lots and lots of people that I get to pass on. Grow.
right. Amazing, amazing. So do you have anything new or anything you want to amplify? Any key priorities you want to amplify at this time?
Sure, thanks for asking. We're a nonprofit, so you don't have to come to us, but if you want to, you can. If you want to get involved in AI, we're just one of the solutions. So we're doing really want to underline that everybody in society has a place at that table. They have a way to activate levers of power in our society, whether it's through formal means like ombudsmen or talking to your elected representative and holding them to account. Even if you didn't vote for them, they're supposed to represent us, right? So holding them to account, like formal means, going to your union, going to your church, going to your community group, and talking about what's happening. If you're in First Nations, go to your community group. You know better than I do. Your community has a way to talk about stuff that's going to affect you. And this is affecting you. It's not something that's not arrived yet. It's something that already exists in our systems. It's in our stores. They're being used in our education system, in health system, in justice. So it's here, and don't be intimidated by any idea that you might not be able to understand it. Nobody understands everything. Like even the simplest thing that we want to do in society, like make a pair of glasses. I can tell you how to make the plastic bits, but I can't make the lens. I can't, I can't make a truck to ship it, so like nobody ever has all the answers, but that doesn't mean that we can't get involved and insist that when somebody's trying to put a system in, whether it's government or technologist, as people, we have to insist on getting the right information from them so we can make a decision. That's on them. It's not us to like scramble to see, am I getting the right information? Is it true or not? Like that is their responsibility when they're making decisions. So like own our power and get involved in that conversation, not be intimidated by it. It's unfortunate. It's fast. There's big feelings. People use big words like anger or hate. I hate AI. I'm angry at AI because it's like everywhere and no choice. And I'm sorry, that's true. That's what happened. We got taken over by AI. Our economy has been like, here's some AI. And now we have that. So what do we do about it? Like, don't wave your hands. Don't give up. We have to get together and talk about it. That's the main thing. So, like, long story short, get to the conversation on AI. Please get to the conversation on AI. Please. Yeah.
So important because now the fear of AI replacing jobs and those things like that. What are people going to do? And we actually see it. I think Intel in the company Intel got rid of 21,000 human beings. So where they're going to go, I hope they have a plan. But this is the reality. You know.
Yeah, it is. It really
Yeah.
is. I mean, think of, and there's a lot of, like hype about it. So that's coming out of consultancies, that's coming out of the technologists, that's coming out of like anybody could just spout hype about it. And then I have an example, two studies came out this week, two news items in one day. Denmark announced that a study out of Denmark saying that they had checked and nobody's job was disrupted by AI in 2023 and 24 in Denmark. And they assert this, nobody's job was, nobody lost their job to AI. Same day, Duolingo announces that they've fired like something like another 5 or 10% of their staff, and they've been doing that in waves now. Duolingo is a big language learning app, very popular. And so they've cut out another big chunk of staff and launched another 148 translations of their courses done by AI. And they're proud of it. Like, we are now an AI front forward company. The thing is that's obviously a job disruption. So we have to really be careful of people making assertions. We did two studies. We have a research group that did two studies on this. They went and looked at what consultants were saying about AI in business. And then they went and saw what management scientists were saying about GPT specifically in business. And what we found in both of those studies is there's just way not enough information. There's not enough studies. The consultants don't have enough information to be making blanket statements, neither do the scientists, like none of them. So anybody saying anything about like, here's how business is reacting to AI is just like, they don't have enough information to make that statement, like, period. We need more information to be able to make those big statements. So like, I guess a lot of critical thinking involved in that one.
For sure. Well, Tammy, this has been so amazing. I really appreciate you. On behalf of SETSI, we appreciate you. And that's what collaboration, that's the power of collaboration, coming together and putting ideas and coming to a resolution, because we know it doesn't end with us. We have other generations that are coming after us. We will close the way that we began by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So I'm sure it's not a goodbye. To see you later. We'll definitely be doing some things in the future. So